This evening, at a news conference on Sunday, President Ali addressed concerns about rising living costs, the significance of agriculture in the economy, and the COVID-19 protocols at the airport. A senior citizen who was struck by a motorcyclist last week succumbed to her injuries. In the region, at least 26 injured as fans fight at Mexican football match, and internationally, thousands arrested across Russia at anti-war protests. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. On Sunday, President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali said the agricultural industry is vital for Ghana's sustainable economic growth. President Ali said sugar continues to play a vital role in Ghana's economy and socio-economic growth. He went on to say that as a result of this, measures will be put in place to secure the sustainability of its products as part of the country's long-term diversification plan.
We said that we are building the sugar industry, we are revitalizing the sugar industry, but we are also cognizant of the fact that the new economy will be driven also by manufacturing, industrial development, aquaculture. We are also expanding massively into aquaculture. We are increasing our production by 100% in terms of brackish water shrimp. And we're going to take that up by 300% by the end of next year.
Following a production meeting with Guatemalan President Alejandro Giammattei on the sidelines of the CARICOM Seeker Summit last week, President Ali said that the two leaders have decided to twin their approach in order to secure the best practices and maximum yields for their respective nations.
These are some of the areas in which we have been able to expedite work. Through bilaterals, coffee production. We're talking both with Guatemala and Honduras on helping us to revitalize and improve coffee production in Guyana. Other high-value crops, including palm oil, they're very interested in the palm oil industry. And we're not only talking about technical support, we're talking about the twinning of opportunities. Now, in the corporate world, you don't reinvent the wheel. You look at best practices and you twin it. So we are going to look at the best practices in Guatemala and Guyana and twin our operation from the management side, operational side, investment side. But more importantly, the end result of this is sustainability, job creation, economic expansion, and viability of the industry. That is the main output that we are looking at.
President Ali said the two countries are in the process of finalizing the Memorandum of Understanding as well as plans for an exchange visit.
Guatemala is the fourth largest exporter of sugar worldwide. The fourth largest exporter of sugar worldwide. And second in Latin American countries. Can you imagine that? Latin American and Central American countries. The second largest and fourth largest in the world. It generates 80,000 jobs directly, 410,000 indirect jobs, and export earning of over $1 billion US. This is sugar contribution in Guatemala.
The president said that from efficiency, productivity, and competitive standpoints, Guatemala would play a key role in the revitalization of the industry. As countries around the world continue to face high inflation, Guyana is not immune to its severe consequences. Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, president of Guyana, stated that the government is aware of the continuous rise in the cost of living and has allocated $5 billion in the 2022 budget to the country's economy to mitigate the effects. The soaring price of oil on the worldwide market is causing economic turmoil in a world already shaken by the COVID-19 global pandemic. Russia, which is estimated to supply 30% of the world's oil and natural gas, is currently engaged in an invasion of Ukraine, prompting strong sanctions from several foreign leaders, causing gas prices to soar.
My last price I think I saw was $117 per barrel. Now, that affects everything. Cost of fertilizer, the cost of shipping, the input cost for production, Every single thing is affected. The cost to take the product to the market. So an already volatile situation is even more critically affected.
Additionally, President Ali noted geographical constraints of the country affects the standard of living. Nonetheless, the rising cost of living is at the top of the government's to-do list. It will be addressed on numerous fronts, including tackling input costs, also consumer and market challenges.
So there are a number of things. One is that we set aside $5 billion in the budget for a cost of living adjustment, that we have to finalize the program. The consultation has started on that. Two, we have to find a way in terms of economies of scale, for example, with the purchase of fertilizer. Because one of the other major problems we have is the draft of the Demerara River. So instead of a 30,000 ton ship coming in, you can only have 7,000 tons, because the draft does not allow the 30,000 tons. So we have an added problem in terms of transportation. With what is happening in Ukraine, the logistics issues would even get worse, because there is even sanction now on airspace and all of these things. So we are working on a strategy. One, how we address the input costs and support the import initiatives at the input level, and then at the consumer level and the market level. So you attack it from all three ends.
Stick around after the break. Government intends to eliminate the obligation of passengers arriving in the country to complete the COVID-19 passenger locator forms, and the Ministry of Public Works is concerned with how Guyanese uses the nation's roads.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our store, you are welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries, and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. Our convenient location at the City Mall is the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. So treat yourself with a taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown, only at Maison Francois.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for doing surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Welcome back. On Sunday, President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali said the government would be removing the requirements for completion of the COVID-19 passenger locator forms for persons arriving in the country, thus reducing waiting time and increasing efficiency at the Chedijagan International Airport. Amid the pandemic, the government implemented the use of the locator form as part of several measures to reduce the spread of COVID-19, particularly for persons entering the country. President Ali said he had received complaints of delays caused because of the requirement of filling out those forms.
I received complaints over the last 4 weeks of a situation when we had 3 or more flights coming in at one time. You had some delays and a lot of time in terms of the clearance of passengers because of the requirement for the filling up of that COVID locator form. So when you come in, you have to fill up an additional form, a COVID locator form, and then that form is deposited at the help desk. So you have to join a line to deposit that form, and then you have to, when you deposit that form, they will then stamp your immigration form, then you join the immigration line.
He said arriving passengers had to fill out the forms and join several lines before completing the process. The removal of the requirement is one of the immediate measures that would be taken to accelerate the full reopening of the economy.
All of this was necessary because of COVID, but we have to navigate now into the future. So that form, that locator form, is no longer needed. Because the immigration form captures all the information that is required on that form. So, which means that when you come in now, you'll be advancing straight to immigration.
The president said he took the time to observe the processing time through immigration.
It took an average of about 4 minutes for the processing of, between 3 to 4 minutes for the processing of one passenger. And these might sound minutiae, but these are things we have to address in building a strong modern economy and modern country. We have to take that time down because in today's world you have an advanced passenger information system that gives you all information even before the passengers arrive here. So you already know who you need for secondary checking. So we have to bring that time down. We have to make it more efficient. We have to make the ease of travel more efficient. So these are some of the things that the pandemic brought upon us that we now must advance out of the system as we move forward.
The 66-year-old woman who was involved in an accident with a motorcyclist along the Agricola Public Road on the east bank of Demerara on Monday, the 20th of February, has succumbed to her injuries. The woman, Shirley Hollingsworth of Agricola, was in a critical condition in the intensive care unit of the Georgetown Public Hospital following the accident. A report on the accident stated that Hollingsworth was crossing the public road from east to west on the pedestrian crossing when motorcycle CK5462, driven by 24-year-old Neonel Barkley, was proceeding north along the public road and collided with her. Barkley was pronounced dead at the hospital and Hollingsworth was admitted as critical. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Public Works is concerned about how Guyanese continues to use the country's roads. Bishop Juan Edgehill, Minister of Public Works, noted in his statement that some people continue to drive recklessly and carelessly on the roads, resulting in the deaths or injuries of innocent bystanders. Data given by the Ghana Police Force on the 3rd of March 2022 stated that 15 persons would have perished as a result of 14 accidents. The majority of road fatalities are among the vulnerable classes of road users, pedal cyclists, motorcyclists, and pedestrians. As a result, Edgehill is appealing to all pedal cyclists and motorcyclists and their pillion riders to use helmets. Additionally, he urges pedestrians to exercise caution when crossing roads, and seatbelts should be worn by all occupants on both the front and back seats of motor vehicles. The Minister of Public Works further declared that he would investigate and encourage legislators to implement stronger regulations such as driver-rider training, retraining, larger fines or heavier punishments, and a well-thought-out approach to the implementation of the merit system. Don't go away after the break. Sri Lanka, food, fuel shortages leads to protests as economic crisis bites, and at least 26 injured as fans fight at Mexican match. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our store, you are welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. Our convenient location at the City Mall is the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. So treat yourself with a taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown, only at Maison Francois.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
In North America, at least 26 people were injured when a fight broke out in the stands during a top-flight football match in Mexico. The Liga MX match between Querétaro and Atlas was called off 63 minutes due to a fight on the fields at a stadium. Before being sent to the locker rooms, some players attempted to quiet down the spectators. 3 persons were critically injured and a total of 26 supporters were brought to the hospital. The visitors, Atlas, were leading 1-0 when the game was called off. Internationally, police detained more than 4,300 people on Sunday at Russia-wide protests against President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine, according to an independent protest monitoring group. Al Jazeera's Neve Barker reports.
With the crisis in Ukraine deepening on a daily basis, concerns are growing here in London and in other European capitals about the direction of travel of this incredibly unpredictable war. As you can see, the campaign for nuclear disarmament is out in force. Other placards calling for a stop to the war.
I come from Lithuania. I feel like NATO is doing everything they can. I do not necessarily think they should send their troops to Ukraine, at least just yet. I hope we can help with ammunition, support, money, intelligence.
I'm from west of Ukraine. It's terribly painful. We're crying every day. My sister there, my nephew is in Kiev in a basement bomb shelter sitting with family. And it's terribly painful. It's unbelievable. But people of Ukraine are very strong, you know. And
do you think that Western powers could go further than they have done?
Oh, definitely.
In what way?
Firstly, to stop the gas purchase the gas and oil from Russia because this is the most important, I think.
There is global disdain for Russia's war in Ukraine. This is Kazakhstan, a former Soviet state, still heavily under the influence of Russia. And this is the Chilean capital, Santiago, where people are calling for an end to the violence. In Russia, there have been courageous acts of defiance in multiple cities. This is St. Petersburg. And this is Moscow, where police are out in force. The Kremlin's threatened to jail demonstrators for 15 years, and it's illegal to call the invasion of Ukraine anything but a special operation. On the edge of Red Square, two protesters sing the Ukrainian national anthem before being dragged away. Large numbers of Russians opposed to the war are now fleeing their country, squeezed by Western sanctions and persecuted by the Russian state. For many of these anti-war demonstrators, we're now at the edge of an abyss that we may not be able to pull ourselves back from. Time now, say many of these demonstrators, for Western leaders to help broker an almost impossible political solution to help bring us all back from the brink. Neve Barker, Al Jazeera, London.
And finally, hundreds of people in Sri Lanka have been protesting against shortage of basic essentials caused by foreign currency crisis. Al Jazeera's Manili Fernandez reports.
Spending hours in queues has become the norm across Sri Lanka. Starting with food, rice, sugar and milk powder, now it's cooking gas and diesel that are in short supply.
I haven't eaten from the morning and I can't even go drink some water. I would lose my place otherwise.
After spending so many hours in queues, we can only run about 2.5 days. We can't keep doing this, so we appeal for this problem to be solved.
The shortages are a result of the government not having enough dollars to pay for imports. This is because its foreign earnings and reserves have been rapidly declining since 2019. Huge debt repayments have eaten into a big chunk of available resources. The crisis has affected all sectors, including public transport. Operators say they are struggling to survive from day to day.
On the one hand, there's no electricity. They cut power for 7.5 hours. The diesel stocks that come, half is given for power generation. It's only half the stock that's used for everything else.
After months of coping, people are protesting. Here in Chilau, north of Colombo, fishermen complain they don't have fuel for their boats.
My husband can't go to sea. There's no diesel. I hope those responsible are struck by lightning.
In Colombo, a silent protest. Enough is enough, says one banner. Stop ruining my country, reads another.
Months of skyrocketing prices and shortages of food, medicine, cooking gas and fuel have made Sri Lankans frustrated and angry. To make matters worse, they've suffered through the worst power cuts to be imposed in more than 25 years.
7.5-hour interruptions a day are causing chaos among all segments of the population. Sri Lanka's public utilities regulator says it has been pushing to solve the power crisis.
It has become a national issue. So the attention has not been paid by the political hierarchy then and now and the other authorities. So we have been fighting, with almost everyone to sort out this issue.
Increasing prices and shortages are not unique to Sri Lanka. But people here say their leaders have aggravated the situation through years of corruption and mismanagement. Manili Fernandez, Al Jazeera, Colombo.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. And that is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. Tune in on Tuesday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.